Bonjour tout le monde, it's Aaron here, and I've got some exciting information about French pronunciation today. I'm going to present to you the four nasal vowel sounds of French, how to spell those, how to recognize those, and it's going to be very fun because these are new sounds that you may or may not have ever made with your own face. And we're going to do that now, and they're really kind of pretty interesting sounds. So I want to take as little of your time as possible while explaining this thoroughly and correctly. So please just get your mouth warmed up. We're going to practice a couple of sounds. Why don't you make the N sound, sustain that N sound, and then plug your nose. Okay, do the same with the M sound and the NG sound. Air needs to pass out of your nose for these sounds to resonate and sound correct. So for these consonants N, M, NG, those sounds in English, we do use our nose. So that will be helpful in understanding these vowel sounds, which there are four of them in French, and we won't stay here too long. These are the International Phonetic Alphabet symbols for the four sounds. This is the order that the four sounds are normally taught. Today we're going to do it starting with the simplest. But just to give you one time through with these, the sounds might all sound similar right now. We're going to clarify that today. En, un, un. Moving on. There are two times when we use these sounds. It's at the end of a syllable or the end of a word. If it's at the end of a syllable, it must be a syllable that's followed by a consonant other than N or M. So two times when we don't nasalize is when the vowel or vowels, as you see here, it can be more than one vowel that makes up this sound. So when vowels are combined with an N or an M to create a new sound, they cannot be followed by a vowel or another M or N in the same word. So if it's in the same word, this syllable cannot be followed by a vowel or an N or M, otherwise it breaks the spell and we don't nasalize the sound. So I will give you an example of that right here. So there are two words, one and brown, that when you say this in a masculine sense, in a singular sense, un, brun. But the feminine versions of these words are une and brune. So the fact that this E at the end of the word, which is actually a mute E, and you don't hear that syllable, it's not a full syllable, une, brune. So if you've not watched my video on syllabification, this would be very helpful to know what that's about. The mute E actually constitutes its own syllable. And see the difference here when the hyphen is between the vowel and the N, we are not nasalizing. When they're together as part of one syllable, that's where you get the nasalization. So I hope that's clear for the moment, and I think it will be more and more as we go through this list of words. So we're just practicing from here on out on how to pronounce these things. UN or UM is pronounced uh. So again, you could make that NG sound Try to round your lips forward so that air can pass around your teeth. It actually goes through the nose as well. If you plug your nose, it sounds quite a bit different. So and it's not overly nasalized, but we do let our soft palate be relaxed, which is the top of your mouth, especially towards the back. Let that be relaxed or let that hang where air can pass over it. Now, easier said than done, right? So practice makes perfect. Let's say this again. Lundi, chacun, parfum, humble. The middle row, the left side is the French words, the middle is the syllabification breakdown. The right is the international phonetic pronunciation. So, un, lundi, chacun, parfum, humble. So notice in the word humble, we do not pronounce the M. Humble, humble. If you need to exaggerate the length to make sure that you're giving it no pronunciation of the N or an M, that's exactly what you want to do. We want to eliminate the sound of the N or M on its own. It needs to be part of that vowel, nasal vowel sound. So now we're getting to on, which is quite a close. I'm going to turn my face so you can see on, on, on. Okay, my lips are protruded, on. And words like bonbon or on, which means we. And I am the oncle. My nephews and nieces call me oncle sometimes because they go to a French immersion school. La maison, le nom, and tomber, 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 tomber. Practice that one because it's a two-syllable word, so it's nice to be able to practice that OM sound followed by a B. So you do not pronounce the M again. Sorry to beat a dead horse, but yes, these are written just two ways, O-N, O-M, Moving on. There are several ways to spell en, so I've got two slides for this. This first slide is A-N or E-N. So either A-N or E-N will constitute this sound, la banque, charmant, chanter, enchanté, rentrer. Okay, however you say your R's. We'll go through the middle section. So look at the syllabification. Banque, charmant, chanter, enchanté, rentrer. Again, if you haven't seen the video on syllabification, which actually goes over the stress of French, then that would be helpful here too. We'll read the phonetic banque, charmant, chanter, enchanté, rentrer, rentrer. And the same exact sound can be spelled A-M or E-M naturally. Le temps, les champs, la chambre, embrasser, trembler. Let's read it again, and I'm going to look at the middle part. Temps, champ, chambre, embrasser, trembler. Okay, it may be a little early for you to read the phonetic part, but listen to me read it and look at that phonetic part because I think that will help you. Temps, champ, chambre, embrasser, trembler. Excellent. Moving on. This is the last of the four sounds. This is un. And there are a bunch of ways to spell this. The primary ones, of course, is just a single vowel, as all of these have been a single vowel with an N or an M. This is the last one that has more spellings, but just keep in mind the five vowels, A, E, I, O, U. This one, un, any I-N, I-M, or Y-N, Y-M. Y is sometimes a vowel, as we know in French and English. So when you see YN or any of these four, it's un, such as le vin, vin, invite, impossible, sympathique, le syndicat. Okay, so actually the emphasis will be on the end of the words. I'm kind of emphasizing the nasal vowel sound right now, but when you speak, the emphasis is always at the end of the word or sentence. Vin, vin. Those first two words are pronounced exactly the same. Vin, vin. Invite, impossible, sympathique, syndicat. Okay, we will talk about the other vowels in a different video, but there are about 15 vowel sounds in French, and these four are the only four nasal vowel sounds. Here's another group of spellings for this un sound. Now, un is, in my mind, it's the tallest some of these other ones, I picture them as going on, uh. So in my brain, there's actually a direction to the vowel sound. This is un, and le bain, bath, le pain, bread, j'ai faim, I'm hungry, so hunger, faim, plein, rince. I have a funny story where I didn't know how to pronounce this word, so M-S, E-I-M-S, that's sort of a more rare combination. Reims is the name of a city that Joan of Arc was part of freeing this city from English rule back in the day. So Reims is a city in Champagne region of France. And these other words are quite common. Bain, pain, fin, plein, Reims. Looking at the phonetic, bain, pain, fin, plein, Reims. Okay. Reims, Reims, however you pronounce your R's. We'll get to that in a different video. Now, these are the only two combinations that actually take 3 vowels. Now, the first of these 3 is actually a glide sound, so it's a semi-vowel sound. And you'll see that represented in the dark yellow, the phonetic column. Look at the J and look at the W. So there's an extra sound in these right before the nasal sound. Rien, rien. So make a Y, which is represented by a J in my phonetic alphabet here. Rien means nothing. Bien, bien, bien. The I makes that sound because it precedes this nasal. When an I precedes this nasal vowel sound, you get yin. And combien. These are very common words. Combien. Remember, don't pronounce the M. This has 2 different nasal vowel sounds in this word. Combien. Loin. Loin means far, far away. Loin. Bien loin. Very far. Bien loin. Quite far. How about besoin? J'ai besoin. I need. J'ai besoin de l'eau. I need water. Besoin. Besoin. So here you've got the schwa e b because it's atonic, it's unemphasized. Besoin. Now, we're just going to talk about a couple exceptions. There is a quite common spelling ENT that we do not pronounce. It's at the end of words. It's a verb ending. That's why it's different. It's not part of the word itself. It's a variation. It is a third person conjugation, third person plural conjugation of a verb. So all verbs will be conjugated in the third person when necessary. And if they end with ENT, we do not pronounce, it's a mute syllable basically. Il pleure, elle chante, ils disent, elle mange. Okay, it's not pleurant, it's pleure, chante, disent, mange, and rit, which means they laugh. Il rit, they laugh. So the ENT is just silent in these verb conjugations. And you'll have to learn to recognize those based on your vocabulary, or if you can figure it out from the sentence structure. For now, that's great. 2 super common words that do not follow the rules. There's always exceptions in language. And those are gentleman, sir, or Mr. Monsieur, not monsieur, monsieur. And then bonheur, bonheur, bonheur. I said bonheur. It's fine, but what it is not is bonheur. No, it's bonheur, bonheur. Okay, so we will say the N in that word. Monsieur, we're still not pronouncing the N, but the the vowel sound is not nasalized. And the bottom one, bonheur, means happiness or well-being. And we do not nasalize. This is just a repeat of the rule I told you before. If there's a vowel following these combinations, then we do not nasalize it. Reine, aime, je t'aime. You may know that. I love you, je t'aime. Bonne, comme, in. So we talked about this. If the letter combination that's sometimes nasalized is followed by a vowel or another n, m, or in. So you'll see that the third and fourth examples are double n's and m's, so that's what really breaks the spell, the nasal spell. The last one is, again, it's not a double M, but it's an M followed by an N, so that does constitute a breaking of this nasalization pattern. And finally, thank you so much for joining me. Please leave a comment, subscribe, tell me what you'd like to learn next. I'll probably get into more vowels next, and we'll hit up some consonants along the way. But thank you so much for joining me. Merci beaucoup. Have a wonderful day, and please share this video with your friends. À bientôt. Au revoir.